All right, let's jump right in. Today's explainer bridges two worlds that you almost never hear in the same sentence: ancient historical mysteries and the bleeding edge of modern cosmology. We're diving into a really bold new framework, an upcoming rigorous scientific document that actually attempts to use modern physics to prove something most people think belongs strictly to religion. I'm talking about providing definitive scientific proof for the existence of non-material beings. So buckle up. We're going to trace a fascinating path from incredible ancient history straight through the limits of current astrophysics, all leading up to the release of this groundbreaking scientific proof. Let's rewind the clock exactly 2026 years. You've probably heard the historical account of the three Magi, right? The wise men from ancient Persia who traveled to Palestine based on a highly specific astronomical prediction, the birth of Jesus. But let's completely strip away the familiar story for a second and look at this through a purely analytical lens. How in the world were they able to make such incredibly precise predictions over 2 millennia ago without a single telescope? To really ground this mystery in verifiable history, we can actually look to documented travel accounts. The famous explorer Marco Polo literally recorded his visit to the very sanctuary where these three magi worshipped, which is located in the modern-day city of Save, Iran. So we aren't just talking about myths here. We have actual geographical and historical touchpoints of ancient astronomers who possess this profound, almost unimaginable understanding of the cosmos. The contrast between their reality and ours is pretty staggering when you think about it. Picture the ancient Persians 2 millennia ago. They were relying entirely on the naked eye and a deep, multi-generational mathematical understanding of how the stars moved. Now contrast that with modern NASA today. We've got space telescopes, supercomputers, deep space probes, the whole shebang. Yet the ancients calculated these cosmic alignments with mind-bending accuracy. It really makes you wonder, if they could understand that much just by looking at the night sky, how much of the universe is modern science currently missing? In that limitation, the unseen, the immaterial, brings us to the absolute edge of modern science. Today's astrophysics tells us that our universe began with the Big Bang. But if we're going to be truly rigorous here, we have to ask the next logical question. What actually caused the Big Bang? And perhaps even more importantly, what existed before it? If modern science claims to understand the universe, how much does it really know if it can't answer what triggered its very existence? It turns out both the ancient Persians and our modern astrophysicists face this exact same barrier of the unseen. Well, this brings us to the core rules of true scientific inquiry. Think about it like this. Science is based on proof, right? It has to prove the existence or the non-existence of a phenomenon. Because of that, unknowns just cannot be dismissed simply because we don't have the tools to measure them yet. So when certain scientists definitively claim that a creator does not exist, or that there are absolutely no dimensions beyond our material world, we really have to ask, where is the empirical proof of that non-existence? To outright deny something without evidence is, by definition, completely unscientific. To really put our current scientific arrogance into perspective, consider just how recently our whole worldview changed. We go from the Magi tracking stars 2 millennia ago, straight to the early 1900s. Up until just about a century ago, the collective scientific consensus was literally that the entire universe consisted of only our single Milky Way galaxy. That was it. It wasn't until the 1920s that Edwin Hubble actually proved other galaxies existed. In the grand scheme of time, our cosmic awareness expanded by just a fraction of an atom, basically yesterday. And right now, we're on the precipice of another massive expansion, finally measuring the non-material. Which brings us to a really groundbreaking thesis developed by Mr. Mehdi Mohammadi Dagani. This is the very foundation of the upcoming scientific document we've been building toward today. And let's be perfectly clear here. Science is the only path to understanding in this framework. Mr. Dagani's forthcoming document doesn't degrade modern science at all. In fact, he champions it as the definitive, exclusive way to prove the existence of things like a creator or dimensions beyond our current perception. He's simply arguing that we need to expand our scientific framework to properly measure them. So, what exactly is this groundbreaking document trying to measure? Well, it's focusing on non-material beings. In this context, we're talking about entities that exist totally beyond physical matter and time. But here is the massive differentiator. Mr. Dahani is proposing their existence can actually be proven through a rigorous mathematical document, one that is designed to align not just with the scientific standards of today, but with the science of 1,000 years from now. This isn't about relying on religious dogma at all. It's literally about pioneering new physics. The framework for this upcoming scientific proof is entirely logical. Step 1 starts with humility, basically acknowledging the limits of our currently observable universe, just like we did with that Edwin Hubble example earlier. Step 2 involves applying rigorous cutting-edge scientific logic and mathematics to those very boundaries. And then it culminates in Step 3, mathematically establishing the evidence for non-material dimensions. It's a progressive, highly logical build designed to satisfy even the strictest scientific minds out there. Now, at this point, you might be asking yourself, okay, so where is this mathematical and logical proof? And that is exactly what we are preparing to unlock. Mr. Degani is ready to present this completely scientific document to firmly prove the existence of non-material entities and dimensions that exist entirely outside of our concept of time. But as you can imagine, releasing a paradigm-shifting document like this effectively into the world requires a platform. It needs a dedicated community of focused, open-minded learners to help push it forward. Basically, the proof is locked behind a collective effort. So here is the exact pathway to accessing this proof. The primary goal right now is to build a massive community around this scientific exploration. By subscribing to the Iranian Diaspora YouTube channel and helping them cross that big milestone of 100,000 subscribers, the full Beyond Infinity video playlist will finally be unlocked. And that playlist is going to lay out the scientific and logical proof, step by step, that non-material beings exist beyond time. This whole research ecosystem is completely connected. The community gathers on the Iranian Diaspora channel to hit that 100K goal, which then unlocks the Beyond Infinity playlist, where all the heavy scientific proof lives. And right now, there's actually a highly accessible way for you to support this overarching research project while getting a really great primer on these complex concepts. It's an ebook that costs less than $5. Let's look a bit closer at that book. The book is called The Secret of Numbers, The Footprints of Luck and Destiny in the Lives of the World's Elite. It's a fascinating read that really serves as a sort of gateway into this broader scientific philosophy. It explores the hidden intersections of luck, destiny, and the mathematical footprints left behind by elite success. By picking this up for under $5, you're directly supporting the release of the larger scientific proofs we've been discussing today. And, honestly, more importantly, reading this primer prepares your mind for the complex scientific document to come. It's just a fantastic way to start shifting your perspective. So, we land on this final, really provocative thought. From the incredible foresight of the ancient Persian Magi to the modern limitations of the Big Bang Theory, our pursuit of truth has always been expanding. If science is truly the only path to understanding, then we have to be bold enough to push its boundaries. Is science finally ready to measure the immaterial? Well, the framework is being built. The scientific document proving non-material beings is ready to be unlocked. The only question now is, are you ready to explore it? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I highly encourage you to check out those resources to dive deeper into the mystery.